Hi, everybody. This is Deanna Kosaraja with Global Tech Women. Welcome back to Voices 2015, where we're in version 3.0 of our annual technology conference for women around the world, held the week of International Women's Day. So we are on the last day, and actually we're in the last few sessions. So I'm really happy that you're here joining us because, of course, we save the best for last. And so with that, I want to introduce our next session, which is how Cisco improved marketing productivity using big data. Big data is a big deal. And so I'm looking forward to this next session with Reena Tiwari. She's with Cisco Systems. So a couple things I need to let you know. There's a chat window over here on the right-hand side. So if you have any questions, comments, if you'd like to introduce yourself to other people, feel free to use the chat window. We have a number of visitors on here. I need to let you know that you have to be logged into Spreecast to use the chat window. But if you want to send me an email with your questions at deanna@globaltechwomen.com, or you can tweet us on hashtag Voices2015. I'll make sure that Reena gets your questions. The second thing I need to let you know is there is a PowerPoint slide that's going to pop up. I'm going to actually launch it right now so everyone can see it. I think I'm going to launch it. Okay, there we go. That was a long pause. So you can drag and drop this PowerPoint anywhere on the screen you'd like. We have 16 slides here, so Reena's going to let us know what slide number she's on, so that way we can follow along with her. And again, if you have any questions, use the chat window or tweet me or email me at deanna@globaltechwomen.com, and I'll make sure that Reena gets those questions. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to her. Reena, it's yours now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Reena Tiwari, and I'm a Senior Manager IT at Cisco. I have a little bit background about myself. I'm a mother of two kids, one in college, one in high school, so I have my hands full at home. And I have been in IT industry for 25 years, always been in IT and trying to support different business functions. So I am really passionate about technology, trying to solve business problems with technology. That's the passion. Been moving around in different companies. My latest company is at Cisco, and I'm really glad to be here. So with that, I will get started and to take you on a journey of how and what we did at Cisco that improved our marketing productivity. So if you can go to next slide. I just wanted to put a little bit of disclaimer here. We are talking about a lot of information that we capture on our websites and other places, but we do protect our privacy of our customers, and we secure, so this is something that we are very, very sensitive about. When we started this journey, one thing that we realized is what is the problem statement? The problem statement was twofold. One is on the business side and one is on the technology side. All of us know that our buying cycle, our buying behavior is changing. How many times do you go directly when you have to buy shoes or when you have to buy dresses? How many times do you go straight away to the store without doing any research on the web or on the internet? This is how it is happening even in the B2B world. Whether I buy clothes for myself or things for my home, or whether I buy things for my work, my research pattern is the same or similar. And what I do is I go onto different websites, I go onto different social media platforms, I read about products, I review, I attend some webinars about products, and I download the technical papers and try to understand. So the way I am buying my products and the way I'm looking into the products or solutions is very different. And that is what we mean by the buying process is changing. I don't always go to the store and talk to the salesperson and try to understand which is the best product to buy. So that's on the business side. On the technology side, how do we manage all these interactions? So how do I know when a person is interested in a product, and how do I know when is that person ready to buy? What do I need to do to push that person a little bit more towards buying my company's product or my company's solution? In order to do that, we need to have a technology that gives that consolidated view, a consolidated place of the data. And so when we started looking, the analogy I have over here is it is a data lake. We are in the lake of data that is flowing from all different directions. How do we bring all that data together in one place and start to drive that information out of the data? Data by itself doesn't mean anything. So we have to bring all that data together and start creating some value out of that data. So if you go to next slide, that is 4. When we did the research, we figured out there is a new technology that is out there. It's known as Hadoop, big data, analytics, and starting to look at that and trying to see how we can implement that in our ecosystem and start leveraging. There were a lot of benefits out of it. It would reduce our complexity between system to system integration. It would also bring all the data together, and it will improve our operational efficiency. So thinking about all those and the art of possible, what can we do with all that data in one place and start to define those analytics was the key of where we started thinking of how we can leverage big data. I am on slide 5. This slide 5 will show you the architecture at a very high level of how we implemented our environment. So if you look at the bottom where we have data storage, so understanding all the business problems, let's start to bring different types of data together in one place, whether it's social data, whether it's unstructured data or structured data, internal data, external data. The data is all out there. It's like a lake, like I just mentioned, and you just have to figure out what data, what water to collect in your pond, in your area. And so bring all that together, start collecting it together and connecting it. Just capturing the data doesn't mean anything. You have to figure out a way of how to connect that data. So how do you take the information that somebody tweeted about your product and connect it with the information of what they have already purchased and start to drive that customer journey on that. Once the data is collected, on top of that, how do you do different types of analytics, predictive analytics, descriptive analytics, and descriptive analytics? So there are different types of analytics that you started to build on it. I will walk you through a couple of examples that we have built later in the slides, but here I'm going to mention there are different types of models that you can build on it. We call them machine learning models. And some of the machine learning models, you start off with very basic, and you start with supervised models where humans can keep on modifying the models. And eventually the goal is to make them unsupervised models, that they're just there. They're just spitting out right information at the right time. Once the data is collected and processed and the information is driven, you can then share it with either people or with different applications. Applications like Salesforce.com or other applications like Tableau, where you can do dashboards. You can actually use that data and start consuming it and driving information and driving value from that data and use it for your business processes. On slide 6, you can see what we did and how we wanted, what journey steps we defined in order to reach our goal. Our goal is to get to an automated way of driving the value out of this data and feeding it to different application and business processes and people. So we defined a 3-year journey. And the first year was just installing the infrastructure, doing some pilots and trying to understand the technology, educating our people, both in technology people as well as the process people, how we can leverage this data, defining the architecture. The second year, that's where we are. That's why I have a red star there on where we are today. We have implemented some of the models. We are trying to align with our architecture, a bigger architecture, and trying to see how we can leverage these models more. How do we go through the whole change management process with business and with IT and so any technology that you implement, the key success is people. If people are not on board with the technology, if people don't understand what value the technology brings, then the technology is of no use. So the people, process, and technology, all three need to come together to make that change happen. And this is where we are. This is a very crucial time for us to go through this huge transformation. And that's why we are calling this journey, this leg of our journey, as transform. And then the next phase would be enhancing it. So whatever we have learned, enhancing it, expanding it, and building more models to help Cisco. And I am on slide 7, and this is where I'm going to start talking about 3 models that we have built. If you have any questions, please let me know or put it in the chat and we will get those questions answered. So the first model is behavior scoring. So if you go to slide 8, behavior scoring. So what we do is we want to know as an individual, as our potential customer, what product, what solution you're interested in. And this is a very difficult part to figure out because you as an individual or I as an individual can go to different sites, different places, and evaluate different products and different solutions. So how do I as a company now know which product and services you're interested in? What is it that you're most likely to buy? So we started this journey with just looking at our Cisco.com and tried to evaluate what each customer, each individual is doing on our website, what papers they're downloading, what webinars they're attending, what are the pages of different of our website they're listening to or reading about. And so starting to collect that information and then trying to um, put some weights on their activities and start to define that number. It's basically a number that you define and you say, okay, this is the engagement score of that individual in that product, in that timeline, or in that solution, in that timeline. So that gives a really good layout of what people are thinking or what people are preferring to buy more or they're likely to buy or where they are in the buying mode for a product or a solution. Now I'm on slide 10 and this this one is very important for us because it improves our productivity and it reduces our cost. We call it automated qualified leads. Traditionally, when marketing organizations create leads, leads are uh, information about an individual that this individual is ready to buy a product or ready to buy a solution. And what that information is then sent to our sales people or partners so they can then use that information to reach out to the right people at the right time and start buying and influence them and help them in buying the product. So today, or traditionally, this information is captured by either calling these individuals, by seeing their behavior, or contacting them in another way. We all know we get contacted on the phones by different people about products. What we are trying to do over here is how about we don't call anybody? How about based on their behavior, we can identify that this person is ready to buy a product or this person is ready to buy this product or this solution. So we call it a no touch lead. So there is no human intervention, no touch, and we just looking at the history of their information or their activities that they have done, we can convert them and say, okay, this person is ready to purchase in this given period of time. So how do you do that? What we have seen is we capture all this data as I showed you earlier on the architecture diagram. We captured all that data and then we do 4 steps. We clean the data, we prep the data, we have a few machine learning statistical models that we implement on those top, and then that spits out a record saying, I'm going to take myself as an example. If Reena has attended a webinar on Cisco's collaboration product and has done also attended or also has gone to the web pages of collaboration, then yes, Reena probably is ready to buy. So let's push Reena's information to our salesperson so salesperson can contact Reena and then they can have further discussion and see whether we can help Reena in the purchase. I am now going to slide number 13. That will talk about a little bit detail about how this data is captured and what models we have used to create this information. So the data is prepared and the data is usually incomplete. We don't have all the information when the data is collected from different sources. So using a Miss Forest model in the slide below, you can see two reference links, and these are open source models. Anybody can go and click on these links, and you can get the more technical details about what these models are. So you can look at it and understand what these models mean. But basically, the first Miss Forest algorithm is used to complete the information. And in this case, I'm taking my example, Reena. So if I don't know all the information about Reena, how can I use this statistical model and complete her information based on the data that I have in the platform? Um, the behavior scores and propensity to buy scores are other scores that we have built in the past. We use those models, and another model that we use is gradient boosting machine learning model. Again, I have the reference there, and you can look at the details of it. So using those models, we determine when is Reena likely to buy a particular product or a solution that Cisco sells. And that's the key part about this model. And once that is defined, we then send it over to our CRM platform, where the sales agents and partners can look at that and go and contact Reena. The last model that we're going to talk about is the tracking conversion. And what this model is, if I go to slide number 15, what it does, it actually gives the whole tracking of the activities of an individual, what that individual has done in the past from one activity to the other activity. Activities could include registering on Cisco.com. It could also mean downloading a white paper. It could mean contacting Cisco on a help desk. It could mean reading some papers or visiting some pages on Cisco.com. So how do you track the activities with the time stamp on it? That provides a really good information to our business and where the individual is moving in the buyer's journey. So this really gives you an idea of if you can take this information and look at and say 10 people did these activities and 5 people did activity number 1, 2, and 3 and dropped out, and after that did not do any other activity. Then you can go and investigate what happened and what can I do as a marketer to influence those individuals to continue in the journey. And from the presentation perspective, I think this is what I was going to cover, but I am here to answer your questions. So feel free to ask questions, or I can go back to other slides and repeat some of the information if you need.
Hi, Reena. So far, we don't
And
have
was there
any
any
questions.
questions?
So I'm checking the. Testing. Hi, Reena.
Hello.
Can
Yes,
you hear
yes.
me? Hi, I'm sorry about that. I just dropped off. I wasn't really sure what happened there. So I had to reboot my machine. So I'm checking Twitter, Voices, hashtag Voices 2015 in the Facebook group. So far, there aren't any questions. Is there any questions from the viewers here on Spreecast? I don't have any posted in the chat window. Is there another piece that you would like to go over again?
Yeah.
Reena? I'm sorry. Did you want to continue or should we just go ahead and wrap
Yeah,
up?
we can continue to. I don't have any other models to talk about. If there are no questions, we can wrap up, I guess.
Okay, all right. Well, this presentation will be online, so anyone who wants to watch it again, or if you missed a piece of it, you can use the same URL that we're using right now. It will be available in about 10 to 15 minutes. And also, Rena's PowerPoint presentation is also available, and I believe it has your contact information should anyone have any questions. So I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap up for now, but I want to thank you for participating in this session, and I hope that you will stay tuned for our next session, which will happen in about 40 minutes, which is also from another person from Cisco, How to Remain Easy When You Are Busy. And this is a very inspiring story about how to maintain balance and focus. So I hope that you will stay tuned for that in about 40 minutes. So thank you, Reena, very much for your talk. It was very interesting. And I hope that you can continue staying in touch with Global Tech Women in the
Hello.
future.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. Take care. Bye.